yippee yo, yippee yay, pow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay.
Pow wow, yo, yippee yay, guys. Pow number 24, and I'm super excited to be with you guys. Today, we're going to talk about the smart SIN tag. We're talking about the first in protect and choose vote is open. And then we're talking about the fact that we released ENS last week and a super smart yield with it. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Fazel, proud founder of Swissborg, always here to serve you. News of the week. We're talking about 3 Arrows Capital. So for those who don't know 3 Arrows Capitals has been one of the most successful crypto hedge fund since 2000, I think so 16, 17, and which have led up to today to one of the biggest margin calls of the history of crypto. These guys have been essentially being able to do a lot of different investment strategies, from investing into tokens, from participating in ICOs, to participating in quantitative different strategies, looking just to passively invest in their best tokens, to do some trend following, technical analysis that will do to that, active trading, and a lot to do with as well some degree of options, and more importantly, due to doing a lot of different arbitrage strategies. One of the biggest arbitrage strategies is that they were essentially trying to do arbitrage between GBTC, so Grayscale Bitcoin's trusts, essentially, by buying some Bitcoin on the physical and then trying to play with a premium on the trusts of Grayscale. They used to do that for a long time and just always thinking that you'd be paid a premium for going into essentially GBTC or not. And same that did with STEs, same that they done after as well with USDT and UST, which was the biggest essentially issue when they were doing USDC and UST. And they had a very big, essentially a leverage position into UST, unfortunately. The problem with 3 Arrows Capital, which it is that they used to do a lot of lending for most platforms, such as Celsius, such as Voyager, such as other different apps even in Europe as well, and overseas. And the problem with that is that as now they defaulted, a lot of all the other essentially lenders have defaulted because they essentially were giving money to these guys and they were providing a yield. And instead of doing the yield on DeFi or on more secure type of investments. And therefore, essentially, long story short, these guys got margin called. They've been deleveraging most of their positions, and they're at this incapacity of paying back essentially what they owe to all these different platforms, but not Swissborg. Just to make things 100% clear, we never touched it. We talked to these guys in the past. We thought they were doing good things, but definitely not way too risky things for our at least mindsets. So that's why we never actually did any business with them. And yeah, that's a little bit the sad part of what's happening. On the other hand, what we're seeing, which is very interesting, is that there's Binance, which represents, let's say, the Asian side, and you have FTX represent the American side, right? And obviously they have both. Binance is in the US and FTX is in Asia, and vice versa. But you're seeing these two big titans, right? The crypto gods to some extent. And we're seeing that essentially FTX is doing something very smart, which is that bailing out all these different companies, trying to say like, okay, well, you know what? I'll provide you a new loan, and that will be probably a convertible loan. We don't know the details of it, but it's providing probably collateral, convertible loans to these different companies, or direct investment of equity, for example, for a Robinhood. And it's trying to position itself very well into essentially the crypto world and as well in the non-crypto through Robinhood. And these guys are just growing their market shares from doing that as they have a very big amount of capital. What does that mean for Swissborg? What I mean is that, well, you have Asia and you have the US, and we're in the middle. So I think so. This is a very good moment for us to think about in the next 12 months. A lot is going to be decided on the fate of crypto in general, and I really want to let you know, guys, that um, we need to be as distributed as possible. We need as well the Swiss board to grow as fast as possible, but it will be very dangerous if we're in one case where everything is dictated by FTX and Binance, because these guys are going to have all the data, essentially all the sensible data, so they'll be able to trade in the most brilliant way, like Alameda is doing, right? And therefore, they'll have all the data and they'll just grow and grow and grow. And we might see something that we never see in finance, is that you could have eventually two companies that could eventually dictate the world. Obviously, now it's only crypto, and crypto is a very small thing about finance. But think about this in 5 years. Like if FTX is taking Robinhood, will then take the next one will be maybe, I don't know, let's say a bank, and then Goldman Sachs, and eventually everything. So this guy could be a little bit dangerous if obviously FTX and Alameda have bad intentions, which I don't believe so, just to make things clear. And where Binance is growing just by market shares with a little bit different strategies. A good thing we've seen recently, Snoop Dogg and Eminem, and that's good for the powwow. Yo, yippee, yay. They actually were featuring their Bored Apes that they bought in their videos. So that's something really cool to show that with all this NFT craze, we're seeing adoption happening by the biggest rappers of the West Coast. So now let's talk about market cycles. Recently, we saw a very interesting post from Sam SBF saying that this was the bottom, pretty much, right? I don't know if it's the bottom or not. Everyone's asking me the same question.
Is it a good time to accumulate, or is it a good time to start crypto?
Most definitely it is. We talked about dollar cost average, so always buying back whenever you have these big tractions that go south. It's a good time to always refill in these moments. Is it the bottom? It's always very hard to say. That's no one can ever predict the bottom, and never wait to buy at the bottom. That never usually works well, because then you just miss it, and you get irrational, and you do things that you regret after. But what we've seen so far is that the retracement has been impacted a lot. This last 8 days has been pretty positive, pretty bullish to some extent. We've seen a lot of new players coming into essentially the market, which is something that has been gradually really well done. And what you could see here is essentially the big movements that happened overall, the big legs that happen at these different periods of time. And this leg is definitely one that's been overplayed. What is very interesting here is that we have this obviously a massive big resistance, that it was the 20K that been tested many times, but we've been able to go past that. The moving average right now of 300 is slightly lower than here, so it's at 16,000, and the 200 moving average is at 22K. So there's potentially a chance that we stay between these two lines. However, if we do break the 22K, we're probably going back to another bull run. However, I have a small, knowledge about where we're heading. It's like weather; you never really know. We're gonna have the hikes of the rates that are gonna happen again. I think so in mid-July. Forgot when exactly, but I think so around mid-July. If we have a hike of 50 basis points, this is what the market has been anticipating from the Fed. I think so things will go quite smoothly, and we'll have this quantitative tightening that will happen. That meaning, again, a lot of money that is going to lower down inflation, and higher interest rates might go into corporate bonds eventually in Q3, which will probably help the markets to start building better opportunities of growth of economy that will then have probably a very good result on crypto. So long story short, if mid-July, the hikes of the rates are not more than 50 basis points, we might be able to break the 22,000 and essentially then go into another nice, at least sideways bull market. Bitcoin dominance for itself obviously has been growing. Whenever people are afraid, you always fly to security. There's nothing new from that, and I think so. Everyone's very well aware about that of this, and this probably will happen a little bit more going forward. Question of the week from the community, Eugene Gusarov. Hey, does anyone know anything about the state of the Swissborg credit card development? So first thing, it will probably never be a credit card. It will be a debit card, meaning that you have to fund your account and then you could spend crypto. We talked about this at in the internal powwow, and Miwash, which is one of our product owners in the payment divisions, has a really extensive roadmap. So there's a lot of different things that will come prior to this. So it's on the roadmap. We're still not too sure about how it would happen. The other day, we were having some crazy stipulations of how we can make this really impactful. And I was like, imagine when we do this, this will probably go to premium users only. And then maybe we'll do different batches. So we'll probably start with Genesis, and then we'll go down and try to bring this to all the premium tiers. But I was thinking a really cool way. I was saying, like, imagine you can only pay with CHSB. So imagine you just, in order to essentially be able to use your card, you'll have to buy CHSB tokens. Imagine that amount of CHSB that would be spent for this. Maybe a portion of that could be then eventually burnt. Anyway, I was thinking about a lot of different ideas. Give me your thoughts on that. I'm really, as you guys know, I've been a very great ambassador to get this debit card, Swissborg card, available in physical, but as well in virtual. So I hope we'll get this happen soon. This is big. First, Protect and Choose is vote is open, guys. So you probably have received an email from ourselves, and the idea is to make a democratic way to see what we're going to do about the CHSB that has been purchased. So the idea is there's three different ways to vote. One is to give bonuses to our loyal CHSB holders, right? So meaning that people that have never sold any crypto, any of a CHSB, have just gathering, and this will give them an extra salt on that beautiful sauce to just, really bring loyalty to the next extent and to really thank our dear yodelers. And we thought about a different way, which is the community to lead a marketing fund. So essentially, it will enable people to say, like, okay, guys, whatever is the idea, if you want to do a Swissborg bus tour bus around Europe and do something cool out of it, this could be a way that the community in the DAO just could go have fun and make sure that people just on board on the Swissborg van, which will be cool, and grow obviously the number of community members and create a lot of great ways to activate and as well to retain our beautiful community members. The last thing, it was a fun for Swissborg to do research, some things that could help you guys to have just better ways to research in crypto and try to find ways that could help you guys to make better, smarter investments on the long run. So just to remind you guys, it's eligible list until July 5th. So you could vote on the first Protect and Choose. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen, obviously, to that. Obviously, if you guys want to burn everything, that's always availability too. But if not, there's other things to be chosen. And again, I know a lot of people like the burning, but there's might be other solutions. And at least let's put this as democratic as possible through a beautiful referendum. Why the pool of 5.8 million CHSB? So we've been sharing that the Protect and Choose budget has been actually buying CHSB over the past 6 months or so. And the idea was always to protect it at different course of actions, right? So there's been already 5.8 million of CHSB has been bought back at these different periods. You see these big candles here, and here, and here. massively. And the size of the squares means the amount of buying back. So there's been roughly $2.4 million that has been already spent. And we had average price of 40 cents. I know it seems a high price, but if you think about this over 6 months, not so long time ago, we were still at $1, right? And the idea is that obviously the remaining $2.5 million here, $1.5 million will be bought back in the next quarter at these different difficult times when, essentially we're able to protect in the best way possible our Swissborg token holders. I like to have this transparency report. We will be sending more information regarding this, and I hope you enjoy it. Community sentiment of the week. Shout out to Philippe and Russell Mack. Positive surprise about Swissborg in time of crisis, especially the way the company's positioned and not remotely threatened by liquidations, etc. The funds are safe here. I repeat, the funds are safe here. That is very true, and thank you for that, Philippe. Thank you as well for the fact that you got to bring your mom, Russell, to get community premium. She's over her 70. This is a very smart thing. Recently, I was in Paris some weeks ago, and someone came to me, like, "Oh, you work at Swissborg?" I'm like, "Yeah, I work at Swissborg." And so we took pictures, and then the mom said, "Wait, I know you, and like I'm actually community premium too, so I want a picture with you." So I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was so happy to take the picture with the mom that she was community premium. So Russell, if I meet your mom, if I don't, send her my best love to her. And that's super cool that we have people that are from a different generation, but that understand this thanks to the love, obviously, I imagine, of their children, but get to understand a bigger message that we try to convey here. Talking about lovely people, there's more love to be distributed this week to Gilles, Lionel, and Token Soon. I forgot your name. Sorry about this. I was not at the event, but I heard a lot of great stuff last weekend at Mont-sur-Lausanne. There was a festival, and everyone who had an app was able to actually get a free beer. So it was really cool to have the community members all over there, showing the green love to everyone and the green laser eyes. I think so. It was really, really, really cool. So thank you to the three of you guys. And if there's ever other events, talking about events, we had this crazy idea, by the way. We want to do a Swiss tour in the next weeks, like this whole quarter, essentially. And the idea is to go into every different city in Switzerland. I mean, not every city, but any of the big cities like Geneva, Lausanne, Fribourg, Neuchâtel, Bern, Bienne, probably Zurich, Basel, Zug, and a few others I'm sure I'm missing here. Lucerne, maybe as well Lugano. So all these different places we like to have like these really cool events, open air and bars and restaurants, where just essentially we're able to meet the community there, try to have some cool stuff going on. And the idea is that everyone that's part of the community should come and invite someone who's not part yet. And this would be a really cool thing. So let's imagine let's 100 people that come. Everyone brings one person that has not yet onboarded on Swissborg, and you bring that person to say, like, okay, this is what it is. The difference between us and the other crypto platforms, that we have the best community that gathers and shows their that green laser eyes together. So if you're in for this, I'll be very excited to share more information going forward. Elodie and Danny are going to be involved there. So give me your thoughts. And probably people are going to say, like, yeah, let's do this elsewhere. And we will probably do it elsewhere. Let's maybe Q4, maybe do it elsewhere. So Q3 here in Switzerland, maybe Q4 we could do it in France. I'd love to see that in France, to be honest. If you want to be part of our team, we are still hiring a lot of smart people here. So you know what's the drill. So just refer one of your friends or apply and make it happen. extremely interesting to have the smart yield with ENS. ENS is a great way to essentially bring new awesome things going on in this blockchain ecosystem. So a nice little yield on that. And I heard as well that we're listing a new token on Thursday. I won't give you what it is, but it's regarding streaming. It's regarding podcast streaming and how we can onboard the next 1 billion people into the blockchain sphere, where you have a really great way for people to get rewarded while essentially streaming. Events updates. So there's cool things going on as well besides this tour we want to organize. What should we call it, by the way? The Swissborg Rockstar Tour. Swissborg. Guys, find a cool thing for the Swissborg Tour or something. Or the Swissborg's Tour. I don't know. We'll just find it. But there's other events as well. Which FUW, there's right now in Monaco, cool stuff happening with Shane and Marco that's there. There's Unchained Berlin. And then there's Discord Cafes. I heard the next one is with Anthony. So that's going to be a very interesting one. Smart Send numbers. So what is happening, there's a lot of people. The most loving is a person that sent to 15 users. The Smart Send, I think so CHSB and mix of other things. The most loved one actually got Smart Send by 8 users. He's a very popular person. The most sharing, 35 Smart Send transactions in total. So there's a lot of people being using it. What we see here that most is essentially $0 to $10. This is what's been, but some people send over $100,000, which is quite crazy, but it's great way to do that. We've seen that for now there's the number of users has been over 1,000 in total that has been sent here, which is quite nice. The breakdown essentially is a mix of BTC, Ether, USDC has been subbed, CHSB, USDT, again, others. So a lot of being sharing, which is very interesting to see, 1.6 million already. In terms of the Smart Sends currency versus number of transactions, we see that, CHSB has been definitely one that has been the most sent so far, which is great to see. But there's as well a mix of the others. We're doing something internal, which is about the Smart Send Love Chain. So it's a way that we will be able to essentially show to the world that we're a trusted network. So we're going to send, the idea is that we're going to send some CHSB and the next person is going to send a little bit more CHSB and a little bit more. The idea then is to do that on the entire planet. So whoever you are, you might be receiving next week some CHSB that you will then have to send to another person, that will have to send to another person. And we want to make the longest chain possible. That'll be a very nice way for us to show that we have trust at Swissborg, and essentially we have a great network. We talked about this last week, and I really want to start to really thank the people that are getting more and more into this competition to how to mint. We talked about last week was the one, whoever would send the most Smart Send and the one who contribute the most on the yield. We'll have leaderboards I'll be showing going forward too. Now the idea is to, this third week, is to really concentrate on the people that are essentially bringing the most love into Bitcoin themselves. So the 100 people that will be contributing to the Smart Yield Bitcoin will be actually able to mint these Cyborg heroes. Just for those who remember, the heroes here is to show that we have NFT that have a strong mission and a strong utility. Why? Because eventually this club will, at least 50% of the EHE collected of these NFTs will be to sponsor and invest into Web3 ESG projects. That will then enable us to get different drops on these people that will have these NFTs. I'll be to sponsor. We said this, and I heard today that we are really partnering up with one of the coolest adventure of all time. So very exciting about that. You'll have as well the utility of having the real ownership. So if you receive one of these NFTs, you're actually able to print it on your hat and use it in your restaurant, do whatever you want with it. And obviously, we'll have always this democratic way to build up great things that we had from our DAO at Swissborg, and how we'll transfer the same ownership through different referendums within this new club, which is very exciting. There's so many cool stuff, cyborgs that we're seeing, some of them that really embrace ESG and some a little bit less. The ones that obviously embrace the most ESGs are going to be the winning one. Nevertheless, all of them for me are super cool. And I'm looking forward to mint at least a few of them, I hope. CHSB data for the week. We got a great amount of premium and traction, 635 from last week, which is great, which propels us to a crazy state of 191 million and a half CHSB tokens staked. Congratulations. This has been really the fantastic move this week. Pretty much same into the yield, which is great. Which you look at both of that together, it's quite crazy when you think about it. This is 82% of the CHSB is totally locked into these two programs. 70% nice little bump. 1.5 million in the protect and choose because 2.4 million was already spent. And brings us to 135,000 token holders in the app. Congratulations. This has really grown even in terms of crisis. Brings us to the community Diverdex. Unfortunately, not as good as last week. Last week we had a great one, and therefore this week is slightly not as good as the other one. CHSB stable, volume and activity slightly negative. Social media, congrats guys. CHSB holders have grown, but invitation hasn't. We're working right now, though, on a new referral program that could be a little bit, put some spin and put some spice into this, and hopefully this will be a great way to have this thing go up here to the moon or to the galaxy, wherever you want to go. Tomorrow night is Crypto Night with Asher Owen Simonin. Really a cool guy, one of the smartest advocates of crypto in France, and that has been really, doing a lot of great stuff, and obviously has been a great advocate of Swissborg, a good friend of ours. So tomorrow night, don't miss Crypto Night to be able to actually mint one of these cool NFTs. Guys, thank you very much for a lot of beautiful messages that you guys shared with me from last week. As you guys know, it's, in CHSB, we trust, right? I love this t-shirt, by the way. I bought it on a guy at AliExpress. I don't know who makes it. I think so. It's a great thing just to let people do these Swissborg shirts. I think so. This is great for us, guys. It's, we're being tested, and we see that we're stronger. And if you look 3 years ago, where it was different times, but a similar quite type of mindset, this uncertainty, this fear of things not going well. And I'm looking at our community, and I just saying stronger and stronger. That resilience that you guys have is exactly that fuel of energy that goes back and forth. When I see all of these wonderful people that you are, communicating this to us, it has a back and forth type of thing. And I think so that's the best thing that we could have as human beings, is how you could motivate someone to get stronger, smarter, and wiser. And Swissborg has been really, took a big space of my life, at the least, to say, in the last 5-6 years. And, we've seen ups and downs. And the really interesting part is to see is how do we get to be better all the time. And really right now, we're really trying to reposition ourselves in that number one crypto wealth app in Europe. And I'm really quite comfortable to say that we're getting there. We're getting there step by step. And I shouldn't be saying this, but guys, I saw the video of the thematics, the screen, sorry. And it's still in test mode, so don't get too excited, okay? It looks just freaking cool. It doesn't only look nice, it just feels the right thing. Being able to just okay, I believe in this theme. Why? Because this is the future, but how can I invest into it? Oh, I have to look at all these tokens. No, remove all that hassle, remove that hard work, and just press a button, and then you have this very complex indice that buys all these different crypto on different exchanges. Make sure that they're the right one, that they're rebalanced in your wallet, and you just get exposure to these very best tokens. This, for me, is going to be one of the big game changer of 2022 at Swissborg and in the crypto industry. And I'm so excited about it. I really am. I'm super thrilled. So as always, guys, be healthy, be wealthy, and love our CHSB. Take care, guys. Bye.
Through Swissborg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here is the thing.
Premium features gives you zero fee trading.
It's an amazing fiat gateway.
For some, love is a strong feeling. What if you could send it in a... From point A to point B. Zero borders, zero time, zero fees. For us, love is sending crypto. Just send it. Now with SmartSend. Engineered in Switzerland by Swissborg.